Long way up. So I want to give you a little update on the tire situation. I went into Shore Cycle and I was talking to the service manager. And I told him, what it was like. I said, maybe I want to change the tires. And he said, put a set of good Michelins on it. And I said, well, that's what I've got. I've got Michelins on it. So I told him how flat they were. And he said, well, and he's got a real good pedigree in racing. He said, that's from whoever was riding it, rode it, and didn't really lean in the corners. So you end up with a flat spot and then knife edge corners. You've got to round those corners out. And that's exactly what I was dealing with up in the Cabot Trail. So whoever had those, put them on and then rode the bike like a cruiser, like I was, and wasn't really aggressive in the corners. So he said, scuff them up, like get it out there and scuff it up and lean it in and get them rounded off. So that's what I've been doing. I've been spending a little time, and you can see that white strip there. When I was up at the Cabot Trail, that was probably from here to there. So you can see that it's starting to round off. It's a little strange in its shape, the way it's wearing, but at least it's rounding off. So I'm not ending up with that flat spot. In the back, it was really bad when I was up there. This was probably from here out to here and had a real knife edge. So what would happen, let's see, you can start to see that's rounding now. The tire's got more of a round profile, and it had quite flat before. So I rode up there, it was probably 500 kilometers before I got to the Cabot Trail, so I had it, the same thing, I had it pretty well flattened out. And then when I got that I wanted to really lean over, well, I was having to pull it over that knife edge, and I was doing it like a cruiser. So when he told me about it and get a little more aggressive, then what I did is I started really like flicking it. You got to flick the bike, but then you become very intentional. You're not sitting back like a cruiser and leaning over and pulling that rear tire over and the front over, counter steering. You're intentionally pointing the front in and then flicking the bike over and really getting it down there. And that's what happens. You start to really understand the way the bike needs to be ridden. So I've been out the last couple of days really hammering that down, and it'll take everything. So I've got a few mods I'm going to make. I'm going to put a gel pad in the seat, change the stitching, have it done somewhat like my V-Strom. I'm thinking, you see the yellow and the white there? Well, the white's already up there, but I might do the bottom one in yellow. So that line comes yellow, white, right back. And then do a diamond stitch pattern, probably the green, in through here. I'm going to put the Öhlins shock on, take that shock off, and the Öhlins adjust will be here. Put that on. I'm going to take the headers off with that big cat on. It's down in there somewhere. Yeah, that big cat right there. There's 15 pounds that'll come off of that. And put the Delcovic header on. Leave the stock can, because everybody says they're nicer. And then I'm going to take the ECU and send it down to Moto Mafia, South Carolina, have it flashed properly. Then the bike will work the way I want. So that's this new story. I'm getting there.